I just turned 60 recently, full disclosure.
Yeah, congrats.
And that was one of the things I think that kind of sparked this. I have an intention of working full time, but starting to think about what does it look like then when I'm no longer working full time and I'm not ready to just stop.
I'm going to try to outline today the thought process about what it's like if you have another career currently and you want to get potentially licensed or understand what that looks like from a time commitment, financial commitment. Hello, and welcome to the next episode here of All Roads Lead to Real Estate. I'm your host, Matt Ryan, and today I have a guest who's a former client of mine. I'd like to consider you also a friend of mine now at this point. It's been a number of years.
Absolutely, Matt.
And shout out, we have a mutual acquaintance. Do you remember how we were first introduced?
Yes, absolutely. Megan Avery.
That's right, Miss Megan Avery, a local financial advisor in the Towson, Baltimore area. And so still friends with her today. She's lovely. And so that was how we first met.
That's right.
And so you originally, I think I met you, you lived in, was it Sparks?
Absolutely, yeah. North Baltimore County.
There you go.
We'd finished raising our children, and needed to downsize from the big house and reached out to you.
Well, that's right. So that's how we first met. And that was many years ago. And so this is a very organic podcast. And so I want to say that because this is a little different than normal. You had reached out just recently, maybe a week ago, and you said, Matt, I want to have a conversation about what exactly?
Exploring my next career, I guess. Thinking about what's going to happen when I'm done working full time. Right. And I've always been interested in real estate. My current role right now, I think, is a natural fit with that. And that's why I wanted to start those conversations. Yeah.
And so it's something when you reach out, I said, this is a perfect conversation because I've had these types of conversations for many years. And at some point I had this conversation myself with someone else. And because I didn't start in real estate, a lot of people don't. Mm-hmm. And I was in medical sales, pharmaceutical sales. And then I eventually decided to take a leap, went part-time into real estate, eventually went full-time. And so it's a very natural, organic conversation to have. And I know there's so many people out there that might be listening that have had a similar conversation. And so I thought, why not throw this on the old podcast and have a conversation?
I love it.
So let's do it. And thank you for being up for it. I think that's incredible.
Thank you. That's
so
great.
If you've ever thought about this, I'm going to try to outline today the thought process about what it's like if you have another career currently and you want to get potentially licensed or understand what that looks like from a time commitment, financial commitment. If you eventually choose to go full-time, what could that look like? And specifically in your situation, we'll get into interest in the chapter of your life because we all are in different chapters of our lives. If you're trying to wind down a different career, and in your situation, you're trying to say, I don't want to really retire, but I want to stay busy and I still want to have income and I still want to be busy, but I don't want to do the traditional 9 to 5 still, in perpetuity.
Exactly. That's perfect.
So that's an amazing thing. So we're going to get into all of that today. And so the first thing, just to have some background as to kind of what you do now. And because I can tell you firsthand, everybody, every walk of life is in real estate. Regardless of whether you've been in business or whether you're in the arts or every walk of life, it can make it. And because as long as you're organic, and I stop using that word, Matt, as long as you're yourself, put it this way, you can actually be very successful because what people want is someone they can connect with, some version of yourself that's truthful.
Love it. Yeah, that genuineness.
Yeah.
And actually right now I'm in sales for a senior living company and reaching out to people visiting to consider where they're going to move when they're needing care or even just some extra services in independent living. And I've loved doing this. I've been doing this now 5 years and working with families, getting to know them, helping them make this big decision. And it seems like a natural transition to go from this to consider getting involved in real estate.
Right.
I mean, essentially, that's what I'm doing. I'm helping people find a new home.
Sure. And what stood out to me when you mentioned where you are, what you're doing, and how you think the parallels between what you're doing now and potentially real estate. The thing that stuck out the most to me is just that you feel you have to connect in a relationship format with people, and you have to gain trust. You have to develop the relationship, maintain the relationship throughout the process, because not everyone reaches out in day one, says, I know I want to move here. This is what I'm doing. Can I sign the paperwork?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Getting to understand what they're looking for, what's important to them. It's an emotional decision. Right. People don't want to give up leaving the home they've lived in for 40 or 50 years and go to the home.
Sure.
And helping them overcome what that stigma might mean to them. You do have to build that connection and build that trust. And to be able to sit down with someone at that time and their family, really understand what they're looking for and help give them that solution. It's very rewarding.
Right.
And then I get to see them after they've moved in, and once they're comfortable and acclimated, they love it. And I get that satisfaction as well.
And I mean, first off, when the time comes, which it will for all of us, God willing, right? You hope it does. We live long enough. And it's one of those things that you hope someone like you is on the other end of that, because the people make the difference. And it's like, you need someone you can connect with, that you trust, that can overcome some of your own individual objections, concerns. And that is what real estate is. I think the reason why I've been in it as long as I have, and why I still like it, it's not the process of the house. It's like you've inspected 1,000 homes, you've sold 1,000 homes. It's not the home that is the exciting part. It's still the people part. And that's what makes it interesting, because for better or worse, people are people, and you're going to have some crazies, which is interesting in and of itself. And then you connect with some people that you become friends with, like we have. And then, others that don't necessarily want that personal connection, but you can still find a way to connect with them anyway. Sure. Don't you feel like, is that one of the most rewarding parts to you?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, to be able to continue to see them and see that they're thriving and happy, it's incredibly rewarding. And I do the relationship building piece is what's most important. And I really enjoy the relationship that we've built with you. Yep. You've certainly helped us buy a couple houses, sell a house. And that's been great professionally. But you're such a great person. It's been, wonderful to maintain a relationship with you and work with you perhaps to continue in the future.
Well, and I could just say, just selfishly, this is what it gets me excited about the next chapter of my own career, is that I see a version of what I do that isn't necessarily just helping myself anymore, but it's helping others to build the opportunity that I've actually had. And it's a pretty messy, grueling task to get it situated and get the process figured out. But then when you find something and you kind of have it streamlined, people can plug into it. And so if you're listening and you're trying to figure out where you might, find peace and how to get into this, it's to find a person that is knowledgeable, that is willing to hear what you would like first and foremost, and give you all of your options. So what I want to do is make sure you're aware of what your options are in real estate. So if you have a career now, and you obviously do, you're successful in it, you don't need to leave tomorrow, right? You're still happy with where you are.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So would you be interested in something, for example, that you try to earn some income and actually be active in real estate in the short term while you're still full-time? Or would you prefer to just learn and be ready, and then when you are all done with your current job, then start?
The first option, I think.
Okay.
The opportunity to learn it and start applying it, dabbling with it, kind of experimenting to see, can I be successful with it?
Yeah.
And that's what motivates me, having some success. And then I want to go on to the next level and the next level. So absolutely, I need to learn it.
Sure.
I think there's pieces of it I'm very familiar with.
Sure.
But then, transforming it into something that grows income.
Sure.
And then kind of see where we go from there.
Yeah. So the income in real estate is traditionally what we refer to as a database. It's the people part of it. because there's a lot of people in real estate that understand the basics of a transaction, which you've gone through it several times. Even you know the basics of it because you've done it. But when you apply it to help someone else through, it can get a little messier. And so, but it's the people side. So my advice to you would be to understand, if you want to start earning income now, it's learning essentially what you're, all of the basics of real estate from a, not necessarily a compliance or legal standpoint. That's what the license is for.
Sure.
But do you know what you do and don't learn when you get a license? Has anyone ever explained that to you?
Actually, I'm so new to it. I hadn't even thought that far.
Awesome. Well, the reason why we're going through it is for this, because others might not have either. And the reality is you learn very, very little of anything that that's of practical utility. So what you're going to learn in a class is really the most basic. I honestly don't know how much value anyone gets out of it. To be truthful, it's a very quick 60-hour course. If you go full-time, you basically complete it in 2 weeks, or part-time, roughly 3 months. And you can do it online now.
Yeah.
But if you get that license, I promise, if you try to sell a house the next day, you won't be able to do it. It does not tell.
I can totally believe that.
Yeah. So it's kind of scary from that standpoint. And I remember when I did it, and you think you should know something, you don't. So the key to me, and teams didn't really exist when I was licensed, and I got licensed in 2007. So it's coming up on 20 years. So it was very different. I had to have a mentor. That's the way it was back then. And you would be assigned a mentor in the office. My mentor was a lady, I believe she was in her late 70s, I think. And so she had done it forever, but she knew her way when she was learning it. So it was very disconnected from, I think, even when I learned.
I could see that. Sure.
And so I learned some really interesting things that are not applicable at all today. And they take, if you didn't know, half on average of your income for the relationship to have a quote unquote mentor. And yet I had no service. I had no value add. It was really kind of not great. And that could happen to a lot of people. And so the worst thing, if you didn't know as an agent, if you're considering this, most people just sign up for a course. They go look online and they go to Long & Foster. They go to a brokerage. When they go to a brokerage, they sign up for a course to get their pre-license done. And then you're a lead at that point. They hook you and you sign up with that brokerage on average. And they hope a couple of you make it through and actually sell something.
Got it. Wow.
Because the average fail rate is well over 70% over a course of just 3 years. So the turn rate on license is so high. It's just unreal. And the average and or median licensed real estate agent sells exactly 0 homes a year.
Wow.
So those are the real statistics. I say that up front because it's a sobering moment to recognize the average. But if you partner with someone and have a game plan, those will not be your results. They certainly weren't mine, and they aren't a lot of people. And so if you want to learn and do it part-time, what I would recommend is you can get your licensing done and you can do it online and take your time. It could be a couple months.
Nice.
And you knock that out. And then while you're doing that, you can learn the business side of it. And I do it simultaneously. And that's all comes back to who you know. And we refer to it as your database.
Perfect.
And so you add folks to your database. And then while you're doing that, you're learning the business. And so what I was going to propose to you, because I know you already and I know you're going to be excellent at it, it's a little different. If you don't know someone at all, you got to go through a process to see if you're a match. But you go through a process to understand what kind of business opportunity that you have based on who you know. Because that, by the way, is your business. Yeah. Has anyone ever explained that to you?
Yeah, that part I knew.
Yes. And then it's nurturing and adding to, and then you look at your lead sources, we call them, and they could be a million lead sources, whether they're online leads, whether they're people from church or from work or from whoever, your past clients, people, just anybody is considered a lead. Anybody, go to the grocery store.
Right.
Those are all potential people that need to transact. The average person moves every 7 years, 8 years. And so you don't have to be the most knowledgeable human in the world. You just have to be present and
connected.
Yeah. And most people, this is another statistic I always like to share with people that are going through this initial conversation, is that it's well over 70%. I think it's 78% of people hire the first realtor they speak to.
Is that right?
Yes. Because that was a big holdup for me when I was figuring, could I do it? Would I be capable of being successful? When you learn that almost 80% of people hire the first person they meet with, that's an incredible, it makes you a little bit more confident, right?
Sure. Be the first person they meet with. So your odds are in your favor. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. And that's why you have the relationship. So shout out to everyone who interviews more than one agent, because your odds of success go up dramatically in terms of outcome. But that's just the way the numbers work. So getting back to what makes sense for you, if you were to do this part-time, how much time would you want to allocate towards this new venture?
Oh my.
And be realistic, not like...
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that. I'm going to say 8 hours a week.
Okay.
To start.
Okay. And you actually have those 8 hours? Would they be weekend or evening hours, or can you...
Weekend and evening, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
The good news is that's enough. So there's a couple ways to do it. So as you're learning, you could choose to do, this is important to note, you could choose not to actively buy and sell yourself while you're learning. If you're busy with your full-time job and you're overwhelmed, sure. Mm-hmm. You're in a people business. You meet a lot of people.
That's right.
So some of those people need to transact. And once you become licensed, you're going to be very aware. I don't know if I believe that the term for it in our body is called a reticular activator. You familiar with that?
I'm not.
So it's a term a sales guy that once taught me. And it's basically, it's the awareness that one has when let's say you're pregnant and you have children. Mm-hmm. When you're pregnant, you go into a store or you go down anywhere, you notice every pregnant woman in sight. You immediately are aware of them. Or if you are in the market for a new car, you are fondly aware of every new Toyota, and
that's right.
You know every ad.
I do know this. I wasn't aware of the term.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So the point is, when you get licensed, wow, the opportunities that you might not have noticed. Mm-hmm. You're at a bar, you're at a restaurant. Magically, you hear people talking about real estate. It happens. And now you know to chime in. And as long as you're knowledgeable and you read up, and that's what I would be a sponge towards your new industry. And then once you get their information, you enter it into that database. Perfect. And what you could choose to do is you can get what we refer to as a referral fee.
Okay.
Which is a good percentage. It's negotiable, but it ranges between 25, 35% or more of the total income from that transaction. You could get paid you have to be licensed to receive it as a licensee, and you don't have to be the one doing the transaction at all.
Oh my. Okay.
And so that's one of the things you can do if you're around people, if you're a personable person, if you want to get in these connections, which you're like a perfect candidate for that. And you could then know the other folks are taken care of, but now you're making money and you didn't have to worry about, I don't have the time to show these people homes, or I can't do all these things that a full-time agent would do. Not yet.
Right. No, that sounds perfect.
Right.
It really does. Yeah. Yeah. And a great way to kind of slide in a little bit.
Yeah. But meanwhile, you're learning and you could be plugged in. For example, our team has a CRM, a client relationship software.
Yep.
And it allows you to enter all of these notes. You'd have a seat in it. And many other teams have something similar. Even solo agents have a version of this. There's a million of them out there.
Right.
And you enter all the data in on your end about their name, this is what I learned, this is their address. And you can follow along and you can stay connected to the transaction and to the client. And because you want to be connected, because you want that relationship for the future. Because if you go full time in a couple of years, if they have to transact again, you want to be that person.
Right. Yep.
But meanwhile, you're getting paid and you're going to go, oh, so that's what's going on. In your situation, you might say, hey, when's that home inspection? Like, I know, Betty, that I referred you. I want to be there for that. I want to see what that's like from an agent perspective.
Sure. Okay.
And now I call it getting reps. You can get reps. It's like going to the gym. And now you've seen all these inspections. And now you could say, I'm available Tuesday. You're doing that tour. Can I be there?
Oh, perfect.
Does that make sense? And so you can get all that experience without the pressure. This is the pressure I felt. I'm going to screw it up. I know enough, but I don't know all of it. And I felt very guilty that I was going to screw something up in the beginning.
And I felt that way even in what I do at the beginning. The first time I moved someone in, am I going to dot all the I's and cross all the T's? But I think what you're describing sounds like a great way to, learn the process, track that history, follow it along,
Correct.
and be able to get that experience of all those different pieces, the inspections and all of that. So it makes total sense.
And it really is. There's a rhythm to real estate. It is a truly defined process. And if you're on a good team, or if you have a good brokerage, or if there just has to be systems in place, which I'm telling you, no one has for the most part, because I didn't have them. And you just go out there and you're kind of winging it. I learned as I went. I'm the first one to admit all the things you shouldn't do. I was learning from other agents during transactions. I would find out from a more seasoned agent when they would respond, I'd go, holy smokes, I never thought of that. And then you pick up that one thing, and then you might not use it again for 6 months or 2 years. And then the next time it happens, you're like, aha, now I'm the smart guy in the room.
Of course. Yeah.
And I think that's true in every career.
I would agree. The same situation with me. And that was exactly how I learned what I'm doing. Yeah. Sitting in on the signings with various residents who've moved in and learning all those different pieces. And there's always something new that comes up. Yeah. And then, being able to, grab that nugget and keep it. And that's how you learn. That's
how you learn. So I think it's just like, it's shortening the learning curve. And then something that you pointed out is you want the ability to, when you go full time, to not be starting from scratch. You don't want to wait until you're ready to jump off the diving board and go like, well, how do I swim again?
Exactly. So I just turned 60 recently, full disclosure.
Yeah, congrats.
And that was one of the things I think that kind of sparked this. I have an intention of working full time for the next 7 years.
Sure.
At least 5, but most likely 7. But starting to think about, what does it look like then when I'm no longer working full time and I'm not ready to just stop.
Right.
And I enjoy working with people. I love the aspect of helping families with the problem solving, to create that solution, to get them in a comfortable place. Sure. And I love. I've loved working with you. I've been selling our homes and buying homes, and this is just kind of a natural next step, I think.
Sure.
So in these years, this is the time that I want to learn it gradually, and then spend more time with it. The expectation isn't 40 to 50 hours every week, but maybe it'll grow to that point. I'm not sure.
Sure.
But that's what I want to explore.
Well, the good news is the career could be what you want it to be. There are very successful people that do this truly part-time. I know people that are in real estate that live 50% of the time out of state. And wow. It's how do you have it set up? You could truly, like, the key is to have, once again, a database. You want to have a foundation that you can report to and to speak to, and you have to be connected to people. And if you started doing that now, in the next 5-7 years, you could have hundreds and hundreds of people that know you're in real estate, know you're competent in real estate, and know that whether or not you individually are the one out showing them homes or doing it, but that that your eyes are on it and that you're the person they trust to make sure they get taken care of. And that's predominantly what people want. And you could choose to make it whatever you want. You could be a crazy person and work 80 hours like me. You could choose to be part-time. It really is interesting. So it's just, a lot of people have the wrong expectation. If you're going full-time into real estate, oh, I can make a great amount of money. I can start quickly. I tell everyone the sobering truth. If you go full-time and you don't have any experience, expect 3 to 6 months of zero income.
I can imagine.
And not only that, you have to live. So I say you better have 6 months of expenses saved up.
Right.
And not everyone does that, but there's so much pain and torture involved in this career if you don't do that. And you're in a situation where you don't have to do that. You have a full-time job.
Exactly.
And so that's, by the way, a benefit and a detriment, because you also don't have the pain. So
fair.
When you have pain, pain is the best motivator of all. Like if you're sweating in the action, it's easier to get into action through pain than it is through pleasure.
Yeah.
And so people are always willing to do more things and just to avoid pain, not necessarily to reach the promised land. So what we do exactly on a team setting, for example, is to initiate pain, if that makes sense.
I can't wait.
Yes, I know I'm selling it hard. But what they do, it's really just setting up achievable milestones that say, this is your goal. You create a goal, whether it's 5 years, 2 years, 6 months, and you say, this is in order to get to the number of the amount of income you want and the amount of years you want to have it in, we could figure out what your business needs to look like. Because you are not an employee in real estate. You are a 1099. You are self-employed. You're an independent contractor. And so no one can say you must be in the office today at 9 sharp and you're going to stay for 4 hours. That's called a job and you better get a salary.
Right. Yep.
So it is different. And so you can make it how you want. And so, I don't know. Does any of this make sense so far?
Oh, it totally makes sense. And not a lot of surprise. I mean, I know it's going to take a while to build.
Yes.
And growing that database and working it, it's going to take time. And I understand that. But I just, this is the time to start thinking about what that looks like. Yep. Like you said, setting those goals. What's it going to take to achieve them? Putting that plan in place. And I want to learn more. Yeah,
and that's all it takes is the curiosity. If it's not for you, you'll know. You won't know through the licensing process because once again, it's not pleasant. And I think it's only there just to keep some credibility in the industry. Otherwise, they just hand it out at the library.
Sure.
It feels that way when you work with people, even as a part-timer, you go, wow, this is not quite as professional as we might expect or hope. Hate to break it to you, it's not. Oftentimes we do a lot of work to ensure the transaction doesn't die on the table because other people are giving the worst horrible advice. It's just facts. If you're in the industry, you will know I'm not lying here. But the good news is the learning curve isn't crazy. And so what I would say is you could start, it doesn't take a long time if you are around people every day to generate income in the business. The licensing cost and the renewal cost on an annual basis, at least in the state of Maryland, you're going to approach $1,500 to $2,000.
Got it.
So if you don't earn any money for the next 2 or 3 years, you will cancel. That's why there's a cancel rate, because you're like, I'm not spending $5,000 or whatever on this, and I've earned $0.
Sure.
Like, thanks for the learning.
All right.
So I think it's very vital to have a strategy to at least be getting referral income.
Great.
To make sure, because the average referral, given our price point in the state of Maryland, the average sale price is over $400. A typical commission, you'll get about $2,500 on average, right? You're not allowed to say any specifics because of all the issues with legal ramifications. You can't even use percentages if you didn't know this.
Wow.
We've been sued as an industry quite a few times, but so I can speak in general terms. But you, on average, will get about $2,500 in a referral fee for basic stuff. So the point is, if you can do at least one referral a year while you learn, you're in the positive.
You're covering your costs, right?
And there might be a situation where you say, listen, this is someone that I really know, trust, and I want to take the lead. You then can say, I want to be the agent on record or the agent on file. Can I then have the quote unquote mentor experience? And that's an option.
Okay.
And so this is also variable because everyone has their own independent business.
Right.
So when you have these thoughts, I'm speaking not just to you, but to others that are listening. It's like depends on your situation of how much time, energy, and desire you have to get involved, because teams for most people makes the most sense if you're part-time, because you need someone that's going to manage paperwork, manage deadlines. It once again, it's the same. At least Maryland, it's a template. If you didn't know, the paperwork is templated. This is not an attorney state like New York, where you have an attorney involved every time writing and drafting contracts.
Oh man,
we have templates, so we have to understand the paperwork, be able to give advice to our clients, but we can't write contracts. That's illegal. You have to have you have to have a law. You have to be an attorney.
Right.
So it's not that complicated from that standpoint, and so I think that's the route I would choose for you. It's just in your situation, and then you would learn as you go. And I think in the matter of a couple of years, you could have a really strong foundation, and you could go to client events. You could invite all of these people in your database to events. They'd see you out. How many people do you think you would have realistically? Like, how many people do you have on your phone, do you think?
Oh my gosh. I haven't even thought about it.
It's a good exercise.
At least a couple hundred. I'm sure there's more.
I bet you if we did this right now on air, you would probably have in the thousands. It's shocking, because how long have you had your phone, or every iteration of the next iPhone or whatever else you use?
Well, I have multiple phones, so I have to think about kind of consolidating them all. But I've had a phone for forever. 20 years or more, so
It shocks people. So let's say you have 1,000 people in there, which most people do. If you go to your phone and go to contacts and scroll to the very bottom, you'll see this number. It always shocks
I've
people.
never looked.
Exactly. Well, okay, half of them you don't speak to, so you
Fair.
can delete half of those. But there's always several hundred on average that people are like, wow, okay, these are people that I know. Some are close friends, some are casual acquaintances.
Sure.
But you can go through the list, and the first task to do once you get licensed and you figure out your database and you start this, you go down the line and introduce yourself again.
Sure.
Say, hey, I'm Michelle. Do you remember we met before? I was your old neighbor back in Sparks, or
Right.
And just want to let you know, just want to see how you're doing. I'm in real estate now, and I'm really excited about this new chapter in my life. And I just want to understand what your situation, what's going on with you. And you get in relationship with people, and some of them will hang up on you. That's great. You better get comfortable with that. Are you comfortable with someone hanging up on you?
Yes. It's part of my daily experience.
It's soul crushing at first, but you have to recognize why you're doing it, and you will help people. That's the part that is so energizing. When you find someone that you can help, you're like, because otherwise they might have chosen someone who really didn't have their good intentions of the intention of the client in mind.
Yeah.
Or you will help people, and you go, okay, that's why I'm doing this.
Exactly. Yeah.
And even if you get a small percentage of all those people, if you think you have 100 close, let's say tight friends, you might now have 200 or 300 in your database. And that's where you start. And so
got it.
I want to give you the next piece. I'm going to keep going. So if you're at home listening, you understand why I'm going through these details. So now you have a database. And so let's say you have 200 or 300 people in there. On average, this is from The Millionaire Real Estate Agent by Gary Keller. The data behind that is 1 out of 12 contacts inside of that database. They have to know you and be aware of what business you're in, and technically like and trust you to a certain extent.
Got it.
They don't have to be best friends. Just be in that realm. 1 out of 12 will refer you or do business with you in a given year if you communicate with them a minimum of 33 collective times.
33.
Sounds crazy, right?
In a year.
In a given year. So 12 of those or 24 of those could be emails, could be some type of digital communication, could be newsletters. A lot of this is done for you through a team. They personalize it with your branding, with your image. You can actually upload a personalized video for your group. So they see you. They don't know Matt Ryan. They don't know me. They know you. And so you make a connection that way, and then you make a quarterly phone call to these people. And so your 8 hours a week is that. It is communication with humans, which you already know how to do.
Right. Yeah.
And that is your job. That is your true job because you say, I don't have all these hours to open doors and show homes and to do. No. I'm not worried about that. The highest dollar producing income you can possibly do as a part-time agent. And this is the highlight. This is what you put on the internet. The highest income producing thing you can do as a part-time agent is be in communication with people, and then add them to the database, communicate with them consistently, professionally, and personally.
Nice.
That's it. That's all you do. Because if they raise their hand in any meaningful way, or they know someone that needs to transact, guess what? You're there. And then that's all you have to do to make it. And then when the time comes when you want to participate on the ground, on the dirt, you're there.
That sounds like a great plan. And I can completely understand that. Very similar to in the industry I'm in now, same kind of formula.
Sure.
So now it's just a matter of extending it to the world of real estate.
Yeah. I mean, so I guess getting back to just your needs, because really, truly, guys, that's it. That's the equation. There's no magic. There's no nothing. And your income, just off of what I said, you could do it on a beach in Barbados. You could do this and just work 2 hours a day, 1 hour a day when you choose to, and be in communication with people. And if you have the systems in place, you create the quote unquote lead, add the notes, send it to a person that could actually help them on the ground. And it's not more complicated than that. And then if you choose to go full time and work and actually be the one doing all the things,
right,
you can absolutely be the one doing all the things. And then you don't get a referral fee, you get the commission, the full commission.
Yeah.
And so does that make sense?
Oh, it makes total sense.
And so that to me is by far the easiest way to make the transition.
I love it. That's great. And again, similar to what I'm doing in my professional life now,
yeah,
and just applying it to a new field, and I love what I hear.
Yeah. And so if you had to think about it in the future, what type of real income, because this is what always I'm interested by, because like, do you have a retirement plan? Are you going to get any reoccurring income? Is it Social Security? Like what's,
There's Social Security. I have retirement income.
okay.
In terms of what I'd like to supplement it with.
Sure.
In my head, it's like, it doesn't need to be six figures. So, 40,000, 50,000
Okay.
would be great. And certainly if I could grow it beyond that, would even be better.
Got it. So that would equate to how many, I guess you might not know that yet, but it depends if you're actively working them or if you're part-time. And then it depends. So there's a lot of factors here. It depends on your participation level in the process. So if you're going part-time, it could be done, but you'd have to do the math in the database.
Right.
So you would take the number of people, you could do the math 1 out of 12, and you'd have to figure out how many people need to be there that you regularly communicate with if you do it without technically being involved. And then you'd learn your percent commission. It's really simple. We do it on the back of a napkin if I wasn't on a microphone. But if you're doing this at home, you figure out what dollar amount you get per transaction to figure out how many deals, so to speak, you need to do. And so the average agent that's on a team will make less because they're getting services. So you pay what's called a split.
Okay.
And so you share a portion of your income with the team or the group, and they do services, and they should be providing. That's a great, parentheses here. They should be providing value as to why they deserve any of it. And then more traditional brokerage models, if you didn't know, they take a part just for being Big Daddy.
Yeah.
And so they offer various levels of value. But that's why I'm saying the part-timers, I would try to find and I would interview and talk to teams that could provide all the support and do the things, because you don't have time, because you're part-time, to recreate the wheel here.
Exactly.
And so so if you're listening, I would be thinking about who can offer the value and plug and play. And that's going to make you look great and be a professional day one. And when weird stuff happens, you have instantaneous support to get all the questions answered, and you look great, and you never screw things up. Because my concern, just so you know, a lot of part-timers don't, because they know their transaction volume's low, they go and do it for these small shops that are 100% broke, like commission.
Oh, got it. And
they do it themselves. They're like, I only do one deal a year. I got to keep every penny. You should see what those deals look like. I work with them sometimes, and it can be really brutal because they don't know any of the details, and you don't have someone that is financially also incentivized to help you. So they're asking for favors, or they're asking the listing agent to do all of the things because they don't know.
Oh man, no.
Does that make sense? And it's just a horrible experience for your client. And and then they're not teaching you the business aspect, so you don't have a viable business when you want to go full time that is big enough to support your goal.
Right. The idea of having the support of a team, to me, is the way I'd want to go.
Sure.
I wouldn't want to take all that on myself and not produce well and provide that
right.
Successful experience,
right?
For the client. So, I think having the experience with a team sounds like the way to go.
Yeah. And then I always say it's one of those things that you evaluate that decision all the time. Like it could be a year, 2 years. You evaluate to say, do I know all the things at this point? Do I feel comfortable in my own skin? And then it's not a in perpetuity thing. That's
right.
This is what makes sense today thing. Cause I think people get that. I don't know. That's weird. Not everyone understands that you can change your mind. Like you are free to make decisions in the future that aren't what you made today.
Sure. To have that flexibility once you've learned it more and you're growing with it, then, you consider other things like, absolutely. You don't have to, be in that rut. I could see that.
And so explain to me some of the other reasons why you're doing it. Cause one of the things you mentioned to me was relevancy later as, once you're done a quote unquote full-time job.
Yeah. Yeah. Doing something that still is meaningful and relevant, as opposed to stopping work full time and, working part time at Chico's or something.
Sure.
Doing something that is more familiar to me. I think taps on the skills that I've been using, and in an environment that offers some flexibility. So I think for all of these reasons, this is why I'm thinking this direction.
Well, I think those are all potential reasons why it would make sense. And I mentioned this to you on the phone. The average age of a real estate agent in the United States is 59 and a half. You're dead on
So
right
funny.
there. It's still about, that's the last time I heard, that was the average. And female, by the way.
Oh, gee.
So you're right there. You're the key demographic. So you're going to do just fine there. And so I wanted to also pick your brain as to, like, what are your concerns about considering this? Is it all like no concerns yet, just all the potential positives? Like, what's an honest conversation?
It's a little daunting, quite honestly. It's something brand new. I believe the skill set is similar to what I have, but just the starting something that I haven't done before, really.
Sure.
And learning something new, the licensing, all of the legal aspects, that piece is a little daunting.
Right.
Growing that database. Yes, I have contacts and connections, but, working more, networking more, there's definitely some challenges with it. It's not going to be something I'm going to walk into and be successful in the first 30 days.
And it depends on, I would say, your version of success. How do we define it? So that's why the key metric for me would be get your license, go ahead and get all your systems set up, understand the framework of what it is. That's all once you do that, I would say you've been successful in your first 3 months, for example.
Mm-hmm.
That's a version of success. You didn't make any money yet, but that's a version of success.
Right.
And then what's the next 3 months? It's like, have I entered X amount of people into my database? And then it's tracking. This is why a good database is so valuable. How many two-way conversations have I had that have been involving real estate? And if you can track that number, the key metric, if you're full-time, is 10 conversations per working day.
Wow.
Yes. And that can be done and you want to do it typically in the first thing in the morning because it's not always the thing you want to do. We want to do anything. Your house will never be cleaner. Like, you're going to do all the things other that you didn't want to do to avoid doing this thing. That's why typically the morning is when we attack and do the things you don't wish to do. So, but if you did that every day on average, and in your case, if you do it during breaks or at lunch, you can make a couple phone calls. That's it. It's like, it's the wildest thing. And I wish someone shook me and explained how simplistic all of this is. And I can assure you the people, the over 70% that fail, I can promise you they don't do what I just said. I can promise you. And I don't care where they're from or what their income or education level currently is. I'm telling you that's it. And I don't think there's more of a secret than this.
That's excellent. And I'd also want to connect with other people who've done it, who have, taken the leap from a different full-time role, and how they got successful, starting, in a part-time basis, working with team, whatever they did. And I would also want to spend some time networking with those folks.
Well, the good news is there's 1 million clubs and organizations around us, and they're all over the country that offer that. What I would advise you is to never go on these online platforms on Facebook. It is the most doom and gloom. It's like toxic.
Oh my.
And if you post on there, you'll get like eaten alive. Ugh. So that's just a friendly heads up. That's why I don't do much online. It's pretty toxic. And so it's going to sound horrible. And I'm just like, I don't know. It's not the energy I want in my life. But if you networked in person at these events, I think you'll have a much different experience. This is just me, and this is me being a curmudgeon at this point in my life. Quite a few of the successful people that are the ones you probably want to talk to aren't going to be at these events. Oh, okay. That's the issue. A lot of the people that don't do any volume and don't do much are always networking. They're always available. They're not that busy, and they don't have any other jobs. So it's just the fact. I used to go to investor hangouts. I used to do these things in years past, and some of them are still valuable. I'm not saying they all aren't, but quite a few of them are just the lowest common denominators hanging out. that have never done anything and haven't, it's just, I'm just beaten up because I've done it too many times. But the point is, if you ask around, you're going to find your tribe. And yes, you don't want
that.
Right? You don't want to do it alone.
That's right.
And you need more voices than just me or anyone else. Like you need to say, okay, that's how you did it, Matt. Like what are the other options? But it's so simplistic. And that's why it's like the more I've learned, the more I've found out that I've overcomplicated what is a very simple process. And it's just gaining trust, having people want to connect with you. That's it. If you could know nothing about real estate, that's what you could know, literally zero. And if you could be a personable human and give their information when they raise their hand to someone that is willing to do the work, you could literally probably match your current full-time income just doing that.
Wow.
Isn't that wild? That's true. But you'd have to treat that like a job and make the connections and do the things.
Yeah.
But it could be done. And if you want to give up an hour commute each way.
Well, I'm thinking that I'm going to use that time to connect with people on the phone.
You could honestly, you told me it's 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes each way.
That's right.
You could literally make 2 phone calls each way.
There's 4.
And that's 4 right there. And honestly, in the end of the week, you multiply, that's 20 phone calls a week you're not making now.
Fair. Yeah.
That's 80 a month. You do the math. It's like, oh, wow. Like some of those are going to actually result in an opportunity. And next thing you know, you have a little business. And I don't know. So I'm excited when I hear that people are still interested. It's just, there's so much doom and gloom out. It really is. And everyone's nervous. Well,
everyone's nervous. And this is, our economic times are a little challenging right now. Different than they were when we bought our home, 7 years ago?
Sure.
Yeah. So factoring, that the financial environment right now and where people are holding on to their homes longer. We have amazing mortgage rates on the 2 properties we own that are in the 3s.
Sure.
I never want to give those up. Sure. Right. So I know there's other people out there in that boat too. And how do you work with them to help them make that next step when, they're looking at those kinds of numbers.
Yeah.
So I know that's also going to be a challenge and we don't know where the future, is going to go.
Yeah.
So
it's a matter of perspective.
There's always real estate going on.
People always have to move. People are always getting married, divorced, job changes, things happen, right? So forever and always people will move. Mm-hmm. But what you refer to as a challenge is a good, we refer that there's optimistic and pessimistic personality types. And so pessimism, some people consider that as a negative. It's actually a very good quality. It's considered someone that's going to look at the challenges like you just mentioned. And there's the opposite where all they see is the opportunity and they don't even consider any of the potential challenges. And both, by the way, on extremes are very challenging. Like, how do I say this? Like, I've worked with both of those as agents and as clients, right? But the truth is that the more challenging it appears, it means there's more opportunity.
Fair, okay.
Because it prevents people from action, and that's the facts. So if everyone thought it was easy, if everyone thought they could do it, if it was nothing to it, and that's what everyone believed, there wouldn't be the opportunity that there is. And so that's just like, does that make sense? It's like, it really is pretty overwhelming. Like once you change your mindset, everything else will change. Like the way you view the world will change. And so you can choose to take it, and like, you're not more than 6 months away from a completely different opportunity income wise, if you choose to think of it that way, because we're still in America for all the horrible things that are going on occasionally and all the bad way we speak to each other. It's like, this is still without question the most opportunistic land that there is. And like, I'm proof of it. I came from a very humble beginning and I've done very well. And all I did was apply the opportunity that I had, and I just kept working at it. And it's not that I'm special or knowledgeable or have anything no one else has. Does that make sense? Like, I'm very energetic about the opportunities we still have today.
I can hear that.
Yeah.
And you set your plan, you worked your plan, and here you are.
Kind of. It's not that is as if I knew what I was doing. I did not.
You've always made me think so, Matt.
It's biggest load of, like, you go to these courses, like Gary Keller is someone that I look up to. He was one of the founders of Keller Williams, but
Sure.
he's a very amazing, inspirational leader. And one of the things he said, the only reason he's where he is he was willing to fail the amount of times in which he was willing to fail. And he's like, because you will fail. You're not going to be successful. You're going to hit challenges. You're going to, and I'm like, and I looked at that and I'm like, that is accurate. Like how willing are you to get hung up on? How willing are you to take a leap where someone else says, I want to be in safety zone?
Yeah.
And what's really going to screw your mind up, and this is true, people aren't going to be supporting you the way you think you will along a journey that they might not have taken. And that's screwy. So as a business owner or someone that's taking a different route than a normal 9 to 5, and you can't do that. No one does that. You can't do, and you have to overcome that. And that's screwy when you think people that should be having your back don't.
Oh, man.
So I'm warning you in advance, especially if you have success, God help you. Because if you have success, you're going to go like, wow. And so it's like, Cat Williams would say, like, I need more haters in my life. You might not know, that's a comedian. He's like, if, someone's hating on you, be like, I want that hate. That means you're doing something. No one hates on somebody that isn't doing something.
Sure.
So there's your pep talk. There's your motivation.
I love it.
It's not that difficult, and it's absolutely attainable by virtually anyone. It's really remarkable. You just have to be a decent human. If you're, like, I don't want to be in relationship and partnership with anyone. Does that make sense? That I don't believe in their integrity or who they are?
Of course.
That's an immediate no.
Sure.
Good luck. And by the way, eventually the real estate community is small. And if you are that person, it's going to be very challenging to be successful.
Oh, my.
So you just have to be don't stab anybody in the back.
Fair.
Right?
Yeah, of course.
I always say stab them in the front. They have to know it's coming.
So they see it coming, right?
Yeah, they can't hate you for it. Like, oh God, that was dirty, but I see what you did. Good on you. That's just the truth. It's kind of how it works. But yeah, so I'm excited to have it. So in terms of like next steps, like what have you heard today? Like, would it be, is it something that you've heard? Have I scared you away from it? Is it something that that sounds like it's something you'd still want to explore?
Absolutely.
I didn't scare you too much?
No. It's going to take a lot of hard work. It's not something you walk into easily.
Why do you say that, by the way? What about it appears to take a ton of work?
The number of contacts, the amount of connections that it's going to need on a weekly basis, on a regular basis, that commitment every day, every week, on top of a commitment I already have that's, big. So that piece, understanding that it's going to take work.
Yes.
And a commitment. I like your thought about, as long as you have integrity, and I think I do. I think that's the part that will push me on. Mm-hmm. And you haven't scared me away at all.
Well, and I want to remind you that one of the reasons, for example, I'm just throwing myself under the bus. My first child, Charlie, I didn't go to the gym for 2 years after that because we were busy. We were stressed. I was working. I made every excuse because I wanted to work out 5 days a week, right? I wanted to be this mecca of physique and I didn't have time. It wasn't possible. And so I didn't do anything. And I'm like, so while you, like, as I'm listening to you, I'm if you don't have the time to do 2 hours of phone calls a day, two calls a day is a lot more than zero.
Fair. Yeah.
And some action is a whole lot better than no action.
Yep.
And I think getting some accomplishment started will be very helpful. And I'm like, I hate staring at the top of a mountain and looking at the peak and going, I can't get there. Your goals were $40,000 to $50,000 a year. That ain't at Mount Everest. That is very modest. And I think once you become more involved and understand it, I think you're probably going to expand that goal. I just know it to be true, but it's a modest beginning. The point is you can absolutely achieve a very modest goal like that in the future. You could do that part-time. Like you could, and then once you build a database, you could do that from the Bahamas. I mean, it's not, because that's like the top earners in the field make a lot more than that. And it's just, so does that give you any inspiration? Like, I don't want you to feel like it's too much to even take the first step.
No. And I think it's a matter of achievable goals, setting achievable goals. And maybe it is 2 calls as opposed to 5 or whatnot. Setting goals that I know I'm going to be able to hit, sticking with that, committing with that, and then building from there. Maybe then it's committing to more and committing to more. How do you eat an elephant, right?
That's it.
One bite at a time. So,
and remembering our why. That was the thing that kept hitting me over the head, is like, why am I willing to go through the pain? Like, well, Gary Keller said, why are you willing to fail? You're willing to fail because of your why. If your why is not meaningful in any capacity, if you're already having a great living, great life, don't need it, but it'd be nice. That's not a why. You're not going to change anything. So a lot of people don't change their behavior until they have a big enough why. Maybe it's a heart attack. Now you're starting to exercise. Like
right.
You don't want to have a heart attack first. You prefer to start the habits now
to prevent it.
And then the other thing that you always find out is it's like brushing your teeth. You're going to brush your teeth every day, right? It's like, but that's a big commitment, right? That takes time, but you do it because it became a habit. It's like you only need the discipline for, depends on what book you read, like for maybe 60 days. Beyond that, it becomes a habit. So the discipline is very short, and then the habit is easy.
Oh, that's a great point.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's really, and then, and the why is because in 5 years I want all these options, and without it, I'm going to be stuck with way less income than I want for my life. And it's like a constant reminder of their why. And that's why you want to do it together. That's, to me, why I'm not a solo agent. It's like you do it in a little, like I refer to it as a tribe, but a little group.
Yep.
And you're a constant reminder of like, oh, this is why, like sometimes you need a kick in the tail. Like, oh yeah, that, I'm doing it for these reasons. Like you can't do it alone.
Yep.
And you have a great husband. He can help. I'll put him on the case.
He's a great salesperson.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We'll get him licensed. Though, why not? Twofer. We'll do a twofer.
We'll be the team. No.
That's it. But I don't know. So any other initial thoughts or questions? Because once again, the first step is simply to have this conversation.
Yeah, I love it.
And some of this will be done off air in terms of just the financial piece and figuring out some of the details.
Sure.
And then you just start action, and you don't commit to, in your situation, you're full time. You're not committing to jumping off the deep end.
Right.
It's just starting the first step, and then reserving the right to change your mind in a year if it's not for you. But
exactly.
Given your line of work, of all people, like I think you're going to be just fine. Like
I'm excited. I really think there's a great opportunity here to learn something new with some familiar skills and aspects of what I know. But I think this is really going to be something I'm going to enjoy.
Well, I'm excited to partner with you to get at least that initial situation happen. One of the best things ever is if we listen to this in a couple years and you're like, do you remember all those stupid questions I thought of? Or look at the way I thought, or I thought it was easy, or I thought it was hard. And
sure.
It'll be a reflection point.
I love that. That's awesome.
Hey, have a little memento for yourself in later years. But this was fun. And I hope people that if you're listening, just to have, I don't know, another voice or another context, if you were listening to this style of conversation, this is basically where it starts. And it's like being nervous about, I just think some people are overly optimistic, and you were almost on the other end. They think it's super easy. It's nothing to it. People make money. It's easy. And it's not that either.
No.
There is work involved. It's like a 4-letter dirty word.
That's right.
But it doesn't take as much as people think. It's consistency, and you have to have the right support mechanisms in place, and it's very achievable. So, well, thanks for joining.
Oh, thank you for having me. This has been fun.
Yes. It wasn't too painful.
It wasn't. But it did give me an opportunity to really think about why I'm doing this, what I think I'm going to need to move forward.
Sure.
And you're great. So I know hitching my wagon to you, I'm going to learn a lot. Yes. And we'll see where it goes.
We'll see where life takes it. So
all roads lead to real estate.
Thank you. Listen, we're gonna put on some swag, and I have no swag bag for you. So she came on thinking she'd get a big basket, but that didn't happen. No, you got to earn that. I don't know. We'll get better in the future.
Awesome.
All right, well, thanks for joining me, and
thank you, Matt.
Look forward to continuing this momentum. But thanks for, I guess, I don't know, hopefully someone is in this exact moment with you and listen to this, and they'll be inspired to maybe take the first step.
That'd be cool. I'd love that. That's great.
Well, sounds good. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks.